Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the previous class, we discussed about authorized capital, then we discussed about issued capital, paid in capital, additional paid in capital, paid up capital, primary market for common stock, and issuance of common stock. Today, we are going to discuss classes of common stock. There are two classes of common stock. One is called class A and the other is called class B. Now, what is class A and class B? Basically, class A stocks, the promoters of the company, the founders of the company, they are holding class A stocks. Now, what is the difference? This class A stocks, the promoters are keeping these stocks because they want control on the companies. Now, I will give you, okay, first of all, now class A stock, they have more voting rights as compared to class B. Now, in joint stock company, if you have one share, you have one voting right. One share, so you can vote one time. If you have 1,000 shares, you have 100 voting right. Now, if you have 1,000 shares, so you have 1,000 voting right. If you have 1 lakh, so you can vote 1 lakh times. But in the Western countries, these promoters are they are thinking about the control of the company. So that's why they divide these common stock as class A and class B. Now this class A, suppose for one share, class B, if you are holding one share, you can vote one time. But in class A, if you have one share of class A, you can vote 10 times. You have one share, but your voting right is 10. If you have 2 shares, it will be 20. If you have 1,000 shares, it will be 10,000. So this class A shares, they have more voting right as compared to class B. So this is the main difference between class A and class B. Why? And I am telling you who is holding class A shares. Promoters of the company are founders of the company. Now, in India, these promoters, their average holding in the company, it is 55%. Means if you are promoters, so 55% shares belongs to you. In majority companies in India. So promoters are holding 55% shares in the company. I'm talking about average. In Western countries, they are only holding 17 point something percent. Promoters are holding 17%. But still in India, they have majority stake. That's why they have control over the company. Because they have majority shares, the promoters. But in Western countries, in other countries, promoters has only on the average 17% holdings. But still, they are controlling the company. What is the reason? The reason is the same that I told you, class A and class B shares. The concept of class A and class B shares, it is absent in India. There are no class A and class B shares in India. But in Western countries, they issue two types of share common stock, class A and class B. And this class A, they have more voting rights. I told you they are holding 17% of the total shares, total stacks of the company. Still, they are controlling the company because their voting right is higher as compared to other shareholders. Because one share is equal to 10 votes. So because of this thing, see, this is an intelligent, this is a good decision by the management that they are equaling one share equal to 10 votes. So in this way, okay, their shares are less, that is 17%, but their voting is high. That's why they are controlling the company. So, class A has more voting rights as compared to class B. Why this happens? I told you about this. Promoters in the corporation and their control, because the promoters in the company, they want to control the company and they want to keep the voting right with them. That's why they are equaling one share of class A equal to 10 votes and one share of class B equal to 1 vote. Now here is an example. Facebook. You know about the owner of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. He is holding 18% shares of the Facebook, but still he has control. He is controlling the company because of this voting right. Class A shares. He is holding class A shares. So promoters of the company, they don't want to lose control over the company. So because of that, what are they doing? They introduce class A and class B shares. Mark Zuckerberg, he only has 18% shares, but his voting right is more than all other shareholders. With 18% shares in the company, he is controlling the whole Facebook. Alibaba, you know about Alibaba. This is also a company. The shareholder, the promoter, the founder of Alibaba, he is holding only 7% shares in the company, but still he is controlling the company, and this is because of this class A shares. Now, this 1 to 10 that I give you example of 1 to 10, it is just an example. It can be 1 to 20, it can be 1 to 30, depends. So these are class A and class B shares. They divide it into class A and class B because of the voting rights. Voting rights, types, and procedures. So because the shareholders are owners of the firm, they are entitled to elect the board of directors. Now shareholders, they are electing the board of directors. Shareholders are generally geographically widely dispersed. And you know about this thing that nowadays, because of the international market and because of the expansion of the international market, the company belongs to, suppose, USA, and its shareholders are in Japan, in China, in UK, all over the world, in Europe. So there are two methods of voting. The first method is in-person voting. The shareholder will personally go to the annual general meeting, and here and there he can vote. And the second one is by proxy. Now, what is proxy? Proxy is a statement given by a shareholder that I am transferring my voting right to Mr. This. Suppose you are holding 100 shares of a company. Now 100 or 1000, it is not a big number of shares. So what are you doing? You can't go personally to USA and vote. So what will you do? You will transfer your voting right to another person. And you will write a statement that I am transferring my voting right to Mr. This, and you will sign. So this statement is called proxy. So in this way, you can transfer your voting right to someone else. So these are two methods of voting. One is in-person voting, and the second one is by proxy voting. Most shareholders, if satisfied with the company performance, sign proxies in behalf of the management. And if you are satisfied with the performance of the management, so you are signing proxy in favor of the management, that I am satisfied from this management, so I am selecting the same management. Then voting procedures. There are two voting procedures in the election of the board of directors, in selecting the board of directors. One is called majority rule voting. In this method, a method of electing corporate directors where each common share held carries one vote for each director position that is open. It is also called statutory voting. Now, what is this basically? Suppose we are electing 7 directors, 7 members of the board of directors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you are holding, suppose, 1 share, so for each director's position, you have 1 vote. 1 vote for this, 1 vote for this position, 1 vote for this, 1 vote for this, 1, and 1. Means 1 share. So for each director position, you can vote 1 time. If you have 100 shares, so you have 100 votes for each director position. And you can use these votes similarly. If you have 1 lakh shares, So for each position you have 1 lakh votes. This type of voting, it is called majority rule voting, a method of electing corporate directors where each common share held carries 1 vote for each director position that is open, also called statutory voting. Now, here is an example. Under majority rule voting, you may cast 100 votes, 1 per share for each of the 9 director positions, open for a maximum of 100 votes per position. Now see, you have 100 shares. There are 9 directors position. So for each position, you got 100 votes per position. Cumulative voting, a method of electing corporate directors where each common share held carries as many votes as there are directors to be elected, and each shareholder may accumulate these votes and cast them in any fashion for one or more particular position. Now, in the second one, cumulative voting, if you have 1 share, so for each position you have 1 vote, so your total votes will become 7. Now it's up to you that you're using, okay, if you have 100 shares, so for each position it will be 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, so it will be total votes will become 700. If you have 1 lakh, so it will become 7 lakh votes, total votes, your total voting rights. Now it's up to you. You can use these 7 lakh, you can give these votes to any one person. You want that this position, I'm interested in this position, so you can use this 7 lakh for this one position. Or you can distribute 4 lakh, give 4 lakh to this position, and 3 lakh to this position. Or 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, it's up to you. But how you want to use this. 2 lakh to this, 2 lakh to this, 2 lakh to this, and 1 lakh to this. It's up to you. So this type of voting methodology is called cumulative voting. So a method of electing corporate directors where each common share held carries as many votes as there are directors to be elected, and each shareholder may accumulate these votes. Just I told you that you will accumulate these votes, you will add these votes and cast them in any fashion for one or more particular directors, and you can cast them in any way you want for any position or for different positions. Now see, under cumulative voting, you may cast 900 votes, 100 vote multiplied by 9 positions for a single position, or divide the votes among the 9 open positions in any manner you desire. Just like I told you, you have 7 lakh votes, there are 7 positions, so you can use it for one position, or you can use it for all positions, or you can use it for 2 positions, whatever you want, it's up to you. So this type of voting is called cumulative voting. Now, advantages and disadvantages of common stock. In common stock, there is chance of capital appreciation, or we call it capital gain. What does it mean? You know about this. Today you purchase a share for $10, So there is a chance that the value of this share will go up to $11 to $12. So there will be a chance of capital gain. They are the owners of the business but paid at the end. Okay, first we will discuss the advantages, then we will go to the disadvantage. Now, the second advantage is they will receive dividends. If you are holding common stock, you will receive dividends. The third advantage is liquidity. Anytime you can sell your shares. So you got liquidity right. Anytime you can sell shares to someone in the stock market. And the last one is in the important matters and in the selection of board of director, you can use your voting right. These are the advantages of common stock. Now, what are the disadvantages of common stock? They are owner of the business but paid at the end. You know that first priority will be given to bondholders. Second priority is given to preferred stockholders, and then the last priority is given to common stockholders. So they are the owners of the company, but still they are receiving at the end, because first you will give priority to bondholders, then preferred stockholders, and the main shareholders are the common stockholders, but they are receiving in the last. So first priority, second priority, and the last priority is given to common stockholders. So this is the first disadvantage. Cannot demand to review the details of the company books. Now these common stockholders, they can't demand the financial statements and important books of the company. Like suppose you're holding 1 lakh shares and you're going to the company and telling them that show me the balance sheet, the income statement, the cash flow statement. No, this is not like this. You are the owners, but still you don't have access to the financial statements. This is the second disadvantage. And capital depreciation. Just like capital appreciation, there is a chance of capital depreciation. If the performance of the company is not good, the price of this share can come down. It can come down to 9, 8, and in this way, there will be a chance of capital depreciation. The value, the price of your shares, it can go down. So this is the end of this chapter. This is a balance sheet, equity side of the one side of the balance sheet of a joint stock company. You can check it yourself. We already discussed about this. So the main topic in this was class A and class B shares, and I have told you that why they are using class A and class B shares. Promoters of the company, for controlling the company, they are distributing shares as class A and class B shares. If class A and class B, they have equal voting right, then in that case the promoters will lose control. The promoters are founders of the company, they will lose control on the company. So what are they doing? They are taking more voting rights as compared to class B shares. If they have 1 vote, so they have 10 or 20 voting rights. So in this way, More shareholders are coming to the company, but the control is with these founders of the company. I think for today it is enough. Inshallah, in the next class, then we will talk about other things. If you have any question, you can ask on the WhatsApp in the WhatsApp group. You can message me, then I will give you the answers. Have a good time.